Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Looking at the title of this video, I really don't want to react to this video because of the title, but I don't know what the video is about. But because of the title, I want to react to it, but I don't know what it's about. But the title is so annoying that I have to react to it because I've never seen such a title. And I'm sure this video has about 1 million views. But like usually when a video has Candace Owens with it, like it does well. But this time because of the caption, like it makes the video bad for everyone. But let's see if we can take it, if we can handle what is going on here. And if we can't handle it, we'll just end the video. Kindly don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's react to this video.
Years after slavery, the black community was doing better. We were going up, up, up.
That was Candace Owens arguing that, hey, it is socialism that has led to the terrible economic situation for people of color. And the debate that she had was with Cornel West, as you might have seen in that video. Laura Ingraham hosted this debate segment. And Candace Owens said a lot of really dumb things throughout. Let's take a look.
Come on.
That's not
100
socialist.
years after slavery, the black community was doing better. We were going up, up, up. Then suddenly they socialized our community via welfare policies, and the black community started going down, down, down. And you're sitting here supporting a candidate that is advocating for making that on a larger scale. He's saying, we're not just going to do it to the black community, we're going to do it to every community in America.
I want to hear the man's arguments, Mr. Cornel West. He's from Harvard. He should have a lot of history explaining to do and lectures to give us. But first, let's listen to what Candace is saying.
You know his policies do not work. You know that socialism has led to more deaths than anything else in the last 100 years.
So the talking point,
Sanity.
I know. So the talking point that Candace Owens has been pushing, she's no longer with Turning Point USA. But when she was at Turning Point USA, she was paid to say that it is not systemic racism that leads to, the disparity in wealth and income between, white individuals and black individuals in America. It's because of socialist policies. It's because of welfare that the black community is being held down. Now, first of all, that makes no sense. We know, and we're gonna debunk that in just a second. But think about who funds Turning Point USA. They're the very corporate donors that corrupt our politicians to push for deregulation, to push for tax cuts. So look, they're very savvy. It is a multi-pronged approach. It doesn't just stop at corrupting politicians. They attempt to corrupt education. They attempt to, corrupt young minds, which is what's happening with Turning Point USA. And it's terrible and it's disgusting because systemic racism is an issue. We've given you multiple examples of that throughout the years. And just hearing her try to talk about history is hilarious, especially considering what she had to say about white nationalism in the past.
When you think about, whenever we say nationalism, the first thing people think about, at least in America, is Hitler. He was a National Socialist, but if Hitler just wanted to make Germany great and have things run well, okay, fine. The problem is that he had dreams outside of Germany. He wanted to globalize. He wanted everybody to be German. And thinking about how it could go bad down the line, I don't really have an issue with nationalism. I really don't.
What they won't tell you about the statistics and the rise of white nationalism is that they've simply changed the data set points by widening the definition of hate crimes and upping the number of reporting agencies that are able to report on them. Black conservatives, when they have the audacity to think for themselves and become educated about our history and the myth of things like the Southern switch and the Southern strategy, which never happened.
Yeah, okay. So look,
The side of this journalist is like, okay, yo, I've had enough of this BS, right?
people like Candace Owens lead pathetic lives because they're paid to sell their own identity out. And so that's just the reality of it, because none of the things that she says is.
Yeah, I've heard this before. Yeah, people saying Candace, like I like Candace Owens, man. She's a very vocal lady, and I like her drive. And people been saying that like she is being paid to tarnish the image of black people. Like it's like, okay, you are black. Look, listen to this black lady talking about black people. Like we are not. It's not the white people saying it. It's your own black people saying it. Like people are saying that is what she's being used for by the Republicans or by like the Western or by some people in authority. But I believe some of these videos are from her past, which like maybe that time she wasn't enlightened. But yeah, you can still hold her by it because she said it. I feel like most of the recent issues she's been tackling or she's been vocal about are really true, like standing with the Gaza people, like saying, like raising awareness on the fact that there is a lot of single motherhood or single parents or single mothers in America. Like there's a lot of crime in black neighborhood. Like these things, I think they are really serious issues that she points out, and like people shouldn't make it look like okay, she's being paid to do it, but well, yeah, let's like people have their opinions by the way.
Is true. And so I guess they get paid handsomely. I don't know how they sleep at night. So let's begin to correct the things that she said. First of all, she, on 2 different occasions there, supported white nationalism, which has murdered black people in this country for hundreds of years. It was white supremacy, the idea of that drove slavery, Jim Crow, the Klan, et cetera. Now you have a African-American woman paid to defend white nationalism. That is disgusting, okay? And then in the earlier clip, she talked about, oh, African-Americans were doing fine for 100 years after slavery until welfare came to help them. Really, they were doing fine? How about the lynchings? How about the Klan? How about the bombings of the churches where little girls were massacred?
Like I think black people are doing better now than they were doing before. Like that's why I think like black people now are doing way, way, way better than they were doing before. I've heard this thing where they're saying the first richest woman or first female billionaire was a black woman. I haven't done my research, but I've heard something like that before. Like blacks are doing better now than before, though. Even though they are like most black people claim the system is against them and stuff like that. Yes, the system is against them because some of their own people make the system go against them. Like I'm saying their people because I'm not American, even though I wish I was one. But because look, you Americans have it way better than we in Africa, but like we have shitty presidents and shitty ministers and shitty everything. So like you guys have it way better, but still that doesn't make up for the fact that look, you guys, your grandparents went through slavery and all that. But like I think you guys like things are better now for blacks than they were before. Like just saying.
You think they were doing fine? How about when they didn't allow African Americans to vote, even though they had the right to vote? That's what the 1964 Civil Rights Act and Voting Rights Act were all about. That's so the horrible years where they're being oppressed against the law and against the Constitution, you call the good years. And then when someone actually tries to help the African American community, you say, oh, that's when things started to go down, down, down. I mean, it's so perverse. And by the way,
she didn't even mention Jim Crow laws, right?
Of course.
Yeah, she didn't mention any of the stuff that actually.
Okay, I get where his argument is coming from. You know, some of these initiatives that Candace Owens is saying made black people worse off. Like then I'm thinking the intention behind making those policies or bringing those policies to life were good. Like they were good intentions actually. But then the actual things that happen or the implementation made it kind of bad for black people. I think that is where she is coming from. He's coming from the fact that the intentions were good because on paper, most of those policies like Obamacare, like those other things that their social welfare things, actually the intentions were to help black people, but it turns out that it didn't work out. So I get both sides of the argument here.
Matters.
I don't know if she's just pathetically stupid and doesn't know any history at all, or she knows the history of how brutal white nationalism and supremacy has been to African Americans and thinks, I don't care at all. Where's my money? Oh, the only color I see is green. You want me to sell out black people and lie over and over and over again about how wonderful white people were to us as they were lynching us in the South? Great. Where's my check? I'm in, right? None of it is backed by facts. I mean, listen to what she said about the Nazis. She said it would have been fine if they just stayed in Germany. Really? If they just murdered all the Jews and the Poles?
Yeah, I totally agree with him on that. She was saying Hitler would have and his Germans would have been fine if they didn't try to take their Nazi thing global, but I think it's oh God.
Poles and the minorities and the LGBT community and the Roma and all those people inside Germany, that would have been fine. That would have been fine. Do you know what Hitler did to African American athletes? Of course you don't, because you're a moron that doesn't know a goddamn thing, okay? And so now she's
Sometimes I wish African journalists could be this vocal, but the thing about journalists in Africa is that they are scared of politicians because the politicians threaten them. The politicians can come in there and pick you up from your where you are presenting and take you to jail. Like this happens in 2024 Africa. But Africans, you can't talk about people like that, even though she's not a politician, but like you can't talk about people like that because you'll be taken, especially if it has to do with politics or sensitive topics like this. I just wish African journalists were this brave.
says, oh, well, look, if they just made the trains run on time inside Germany, everything would have been hunky-dory. It's just absolutely grotesque.
And look, the heart of the conversation or the debate was about socialism and how destructive it is. So she attempted to fearmonger about socialism. And look, Cornel West, you should watch the full debate because he did such a fantastic job rebutting her and giving real evidence and logic to her arguments. But one thing that really stood out to me was, okay, so you don't like welfare programs, you don't like any type of government assistance, then maybe you should speak out against Donald Trump wanting to give farmers $15 billion in subsidies because of the damage he's done as a result of this trade war to these farmers. By the way, the majority of this money, I would argue, doesn't even go to the small town farmers who are the most affected. Usually it goes to some of these massive corporate farms. But anyway, my point is, what do you think about that? How come there's never any anger about that? There's never any pushback by the right wing when it comes to that?
So I want to just double down on that because Bernie Sanders gave a speech today that actually highlighted that difference. So he says, I'm in favor of democratic socialism. What is that? That's social safety net programs like Social Security and Medicare. Now, are those things, did they kill millions of people, as Candace Owens says? No, they actually saved people's lives. Is that somewhere else? No, it's right here in America. So Social Security, what is a poll at? 84%. In fact, that was an old poll. Recent polls said 87% of Americans, including the overwhelming majority of Republicans, say they would increase taxes on the rich to make sure that they protect Social Security. So it's incredibly popular. It's literally the most popular program in America. And what is that? That's democratic socialism, okay? Medicare, polled at 77%, it might be higher now. Democratic socialism. Firefighters. Yes, firefighters used to be privatized until they realized, oh, if you save the rich guy's house, but you don't save the middle class guy's house, it turns out the fire spreads, just like disease. So that's what FDR did, that's what we do here, and it didn't kill anybody. What Mao did, Stalin did, had nothing to do with any of that. They were brutal dictators. So now, what is corporate socialism, what Anna's referring to? Bank bailouts. Tax subsidies. You know that the oil companies are still getting billions of dollars in subsidies. For what? For what? They're the most profitable companies in the world. Why should they be getting subsidies? That is socialism for the rich. And Candace Owens doesn't mind any of that. She's like, did the check clear? Then I love corporate socialism. That's how she makes a living. That's what she's paid to tell these horrible lies to deceive people because of corporate socialism. Ironically, she's also the benefactor of that. She doesn't do anything productive for a living. That's right. Okay, she just takes checks and then says, what do you need me to say? I'm here for you. And so she lives like a socialist every day, Cenk. Okay, but it's a corporate socialist.
And since she has such strong words against socialism and these, government safety net programs.
Look, man, for a non-American, hearing most of these social policies that you Americans have, I feel most of them help a lot, especially with the Black community that are like actual migrants, not even Black community, but like migrants who come to America. These policies really help them. I think it benefits them more than actual Americans. And look, these social policies, as I said, the intentions are good, but maybe the execution and the people who benefit from them is where the question. Maybe Americans should look at how the implementation goes, and the topic or the issue of Trump giving farmers some amount of money to help them do well in their family. Yes, this even happens in Africa. In Africa, politicians have farming businesses and agri businesses where who receive subsidies to export everywhere. Like it's not just in America, it happens in Africa, just like it's west over here. But um in conclusion, I think yes, Candace Owens has had some bad takes. Some of them were very myopic thinking of her, but still man, she tackles most issues right on the head. Like that's why she's more popular than all these two journalists. Like, because she tackles topics that are very sensitive and she answers them well with facts and figures. So yeah. In conclusion, I don't think some of her takes were stupid. I just think that if you look at it from the other perspective, you know what she's trying to say. But guys, I'm leaving it here. Then catch you in the next one. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel and see ya.